Yorkasaw, welcome back to Illusion of Time, and welcome back to the city of Frisia. In the last episode, we arrived on the distant continent after the shipwreck from the previous episode, discovered that all our friends are here waiting to meet us, except for Seth, which we learned about has been sadly disposed. But otherwise, we are all here except Lance, who's here in body but not in mind. But we're about to do something with that because Eric met some slaves who were going off to a mine and then asked Will to go rescue them, so we did. And in return, we got a melody that should help restore Lance's memory. And they're still saying exactly the same thing as they did last time. They say I don't know who I am. Kind of strange. If I don't know who I am, how did I get here? Well, I've got something to help with that. Will began playing the melody he remembered, which I must note was given to us by Sam when we were at his free dance. So how did he know that Friedan was a form of will? Puzzle that. Anyway. Nothing happened, but I'm standing... Oh, do I actually have to stand literally right next to him? Okay. There we go. This is a lovely piece of music. What is this place? Somehow I feel a little homesick. I feel like I'm back in the womb. And now we know how young Eric is. Everything that's happened and the people I've met are pouring into my head. I was raised in the town of South Cape. When my father didn't come back from an expedition, the most important thing in my life was gone. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't stand my father using soldiers to invade other countries. It's awful when someone loses their life. What had taken years to put together was destroyed in one moment. I wonder if Seth is alright. People live on because they forget about unpleasant things. Lily, that is incredibly sage of you. That's the game in a nutshell. This game does not hold back. What have I been doing? What's happened to everyone? Lance, your memory is back. I was worried. I wondered what would happen. I guess everyone was worried. I take care of someone in the same situation. Well, I don't get to see everyone's other reaction, but apparently even I was crying. Oh, I being Will. Well, there's an eccentric adventure in the woods nearby. Shall we go? I think his name is Neil. Did you say Neil? That's the same name as my lost cousin. My cousin Neil, the inventor, flew in the sky in a thing called an airplane. So Will and his group went to the inventor's house. And instead of one or a couple of people on the map, we suddenly have a whole party. And we go to Neil's cottage like a flock of birds. And this is Neil. It's open. Come in. Neil, it's me, Will from South Cape. Oh, Will, you've gotten strong. Are all of these people your friends? This person stinks. What are you saying? You shouldn't talk like that. There's a wonderful smell in this room, isn't there? Hey, both of you talk pretty harshly. When you're wrapped up in inventing something, you don't care about your appearance. I don't think the smell is that bad. Not enough to hate me for it. I've only been wearing these socks for a month. I've only had mine on for 3 weeks. I guess I lose. I can't believe it. I don't want to breathe the same air as him. I've heard enough about my socks. Make yourself at home. You're Will's friends. Welcome. And Kara's still indignant and being a snobby princess. Seth will be pleased when he sees this invention. And you say the same thing, and we can't talk to Lily. Alright, so let's talk to Neil. It's been about 2 years since we last met, hasn't it? I've invented lots of things since then. The 4 inventions in this room are my best work. Have a look. So, what have we got? Over here we have... That's a camera. It will burn a copy of a scene onto printing paper. The problem is that it takes almost 30 minutes. Scenery doesn't move, but to photograph a person means they can't move for 30 minutes. When I used it, the eyes turned bright red like a rabbit's. So I was even using colour photography. That's pretty advanced. That's a telescope. You can see stars as if they were in your hand. That's an oxygen tank. There's air inside. With this you can breathe underwater, but there's only 1 minute's worth of air inside. Compressing the air would let you stay underwater longer, but I don't know how to do it. To be honest, I don't know how a scuba tank compression works either that much. I think there's double walls and things like that. I mean, compressing air is just a matter of pressure, but how did they... I suppose you get the same amount of air and you just put it in a tighter and tighter space. And then we have... These are airplane wings. It's part of a machine that will fulfill man's dream of flying in the air like a bird. The body's too big and you need a runway to take off, so it's hidden in the desert. Tell me why you came to see me. Will tells Neil about hearing his father's voice and visiting the world's ruins in his search to find the mystic statues. Well, might as well tell the truth. Interesting. I too have some interest in ruins. The ruins Will talked about are scattered over the world, but they have something in common. Drawing a line among the ruins makes a shape that looks like the constellation of Cygnus. Which is why the world is set up the way it is. Cygnus! That's the Tower of Babel, where Will's father got lost. He's pointing out the window. It's in the middle of the ground painting of the big white bird. There's a new red star below the constellation of Cygnus. That's right, you know a lot. The red star and Cygnus. Will's interest in ruins. Different elements are bound together organically. I don't know if it's by coincidence or by design, but something is going to happen. Fortunately, the Nazca ground paintings are a week's walk east of here. We probably should go. Don't say that. Actually, I want to go. You're given a no choice, but you have to say, take the yes choice anyway. Good, it's settled. We're going too. We don't want Will to be the only one having a good time. So the group went to the Nazca Desert. And now if it took half a day from Diamond Coast up to Frisia, this apparently takes a week. And so it's like, oh yeah, it'll take a week, let's go. And there's the Tower of Babel up there. We won't see that for a long time. So apparently this takes a week. Well, considering how many turns we have to make. So we've had 2 ruins, both from Peru. And they used the famous one in the game, the one of the condor. It was a long way, but you did a good job. This is the most famous of the ground paintings, the condor. I just said that. Have you ever heard of it? No one knows why ancient people drew pictures like this. Whenever I come here, I'm overwhelmed by the grand scale. You should go see it for yourself. My theory on the Nazca paintings is that it was actually designed to be viewed from the mountains that surround the plain. So I think they went up the mountains, had a look out, and drew them down, and then that way they would always have their spirits with them when they lived on the mountains, I guess. That's my theory. I'm probably wrong. Anyway. It's scary. I'll stay with Neil. Everything is scary to you. Don't be in such a hurry. Wait for everyone else. But why? Wait for what? I'm going to go and talk to them. And I'm doing something that you should never do if you end up going to the Nazca. Because that's walk on them. Don't do it. So we wander around here a while, and here's Lance and Lily. Up until now, all I've done is go to school, study and play. Sometimes I wonder if my being here isn't all a dream. Yeah, I get that feeling as well when I travel. Doesn't there seem to be a pattern in the way the rocks are scattered around? Lily's always intelligent. When you look at it this way, it's like the White Lions at an athletic event. Maybe the ancient Nazca people ran the 100-yard dash here. Oh, I suppose she's right. This is the condor's stomach. If you dig here, you might find eggs. It's a joke. Don't be so serious. So we've got Eric and Neil up there, Lance and Lily over here, and Kara, and me. But I want to go down here. Oh. Hello. Oh. Disappearing. Coo. And he runs away. With that, everyone's made their way back to see school teacher Neil. It must be great to paint such a huge painting on a natural canvas. The ancients were amazing. I wonder why they made this. What's going to happen? It's exciting. Well, I'm going to talk to Neil. Everyone is back. The mystic statue that Will spoke of is somewhere on this plane. I thought I'd seen the paintings before, but doesn't this condor look like Cygnus? Of course, I hadn't noticed. When we look at it, we see Cygnus, but ancient people probably just saw a condor. Ah, I've got it. Look, where the rocks are on the ground. They're positioned like the stars in the constellation of Cygnus. Of course, Cygnus has 9 stars and there are 9 stones. So where is the red star that appeared recently? I know it's at the left foot. Of course, at the joint of its left foot. Let's check the left foot. So the constellation of Cygnus actually lines up with many of the ruins as well. So that's... I don't know why there's 2 here, but that's the Inca ruins. That's the Tower of Babel. This is where we are now. I have this place here. A riddle in a constellation, kind of romantic. We're working on a puzzle that explorers and archaeologists have never solved. Not bad. It's as exciting as inventing something. What's going to happen? It's exciting. Everyone's excited. There's a tile buried in the sand. When Will's flute touched it, there was a rumbling sound. Hey, something huge is coming down. Oh, Will. And welcome to my favorite dungeon of the game, folks. With one of my favorite tunes from the game too. There's a strange garden floating in the sky over Nazca. On the ground, Neil and my friends look like tiny ants going back and forth. Could the paintings be an airport for the sky garden? So they've gone with the whole alien ships landing thing. But yes, this is an analogue of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. We meet again. Coo. You're a strong boy to have come this far. This sky garden is our mode of transportation. There are 4 crystal balls in 4 locations. Find each one in clockwise order. So I'll do that. Drop off the cliff at the front and back to find the upside down world. And we have a dark space. And I love how you get glimpses of the condor beneath you the entire time. So, and the music here is probably my favorite in the game. You actually feel like you're in the air and just the peril of flying as well. Oh, I love this place. So yes, you get this sort of Babylonian statues, and I love the design of these enemies. And yes, they explode. And yeah, you can be injured by it. Oh, lasers everywhere. I forgot about that. Oh no. No. So, after you stop the blue cybers from shooting lasers, yeah, they shoot their arms at you. And you can't always tell where they're facing. I'll do it. Thank you. Okay. This bit here in the music. Yep. It's glorious. This whole place is glorious. I love it. It's probably one of my favorite dungeons out of any sort of JRPG or that kind of game. Now, we've got that red jewel. Let's deal with that. Yeah, just the music here, you sort of feel the peril of everything. And I'm about to do something very perilous. The only way forward is to jump off. But we don't land on the ground. We land on the other side. Now, I don't know what creatures these statues are supposed to be of. I get the sort of the sphinxy elements that sort of Nebuchadnezzar sort of thing. Oh yes, and on the dark side of the Sky Garden, everything's just a little bit stronger. So these guys explode, like, rather violently. And yep, we're looking up into the sky there and the undersides of clouds. Now the red ones, the red cybers, they just fire their arms at you, but then they bounce back. So I like that sort of subtle but important differences that all of the enemies have. So the variants on the upper and undersides. Now these guys have a habit of jumping over bricks. Like that. And of course, they always land where the little dark gem is. So we've got these little fireball things, fire snake things. Oh, what are you going to do? You're going to fire towards me. Yes, you are. And now we're fighting the middle one. Oh, you got to bounce back at me. Yes, you are. And you've glitched. Okay. Okay, that just happened. Yes, if you destroy them while the arms are away from them, they keep going on indefinitely. But here on the dark side of the garden, you can also get glimpses of what you saw from the top side, but upside down from time to time as well. Ooh, don't you be coming all the way up here. Alright. So everything's back to front, so right now we're kind of near to where we started. And that was our last enemy on this side. And I don't think there's any, nope, no items to be found. So this is the way forward. This is an area we couldn't get to previously. Oh! That's right. These guys. Have to destroy the sword. And then we can move them. So there's the first of 4 crystal balls. Excellent, that's what I wanted. I can just see the left foot of Condor there. Okay, so I want to go this way though. So this is the bottom left corner. We've got another herb. And that's the top side finished. So now I've just got to make it back. And at least this part is fairly straightforward and fairly simple. Oops. This way. But now I just have to run all the way back to the central area. So, while I'm doing this, what happened to Quintet? I mean, and how does this game sort of feature in everything? Well, this game, to understand where this game fits into the scheme of things, one of the first games that Quintet made for the Super Nintendo was called ActRaiser. Now, that's got a little bit of... it's not completely unknown. It's not a... necessarily unknown game. But it sort of explored the concept of rebirth, and I love this bit, just sort of sidle back and forth along the edge there. So it explored concepts of rebirth, where basically the world was destroyed, and it was up to basically the equivalent of God to rebuild the world. And so it ended up being this sort of cross between an arcade, not shmup, but arcade brawler and SimCity, as you rebuild one city after another. And so that was ActRaiser, and you had this equivalent of a deity, let's say, who was getting more and more followers and had an avatar. So what also happened was that after ActRaiser came out, there was an ActRaiser 2, which I have to admit I haven't played. Or at least I've played very little of it, but it hasn't really interested me because it's pretty much just the arcade brawler bit. There's no SimCity strategy bit to it. And finally we can change it to Freedom. But after ActRaiser came out, they released Soul Blazer, and this game is considered to be part of the Soul Blazer trilogy, or tetralogy, if you count the Grand Stream Saga, which was a game that was partially done by Quintet on PlayStation. So that one I haven't really heard of until fairly recently. But the main sort of canonical, if you will, what's it called? Canonical series is Soul Blazer, Illusion of Time or Illusion of Gaia, and Terranigma. So Illusion of Time is the middle of the two. It doesn't have the sort of hard RPG elements that other platformers, well, not platformers, but other games in the series sort of have. Though even then, it's fairly light on it. But Soul Blazer is a, you're basically an avatar of the deity from ActRaiser. And it's your job to go out and restore the world. Very much the running theme of the games. Go out, restore the world. And don't do that, Nitropede. That's not very nice of you. So, Soul Blazer, I've played the game through, and it's compared to what would follow, it's, well, let's just say the Quintet got better and better as time went on. But even then, they've always sort of had this exploration of good and evil, but not necessarily good and evil in the sense that we would consider good and evil, but as sort of like good is good and evil is bad, but more in the sort of exploring the interaction between the two, and not in a Peter Molyneux way, but you're sort of seeing how we talked about how the comet transforms things, and how what will be reborn of the light this time, and see how this area reflects the first areas, and there's the ladder. I love this dungeon. So Quintet's games have always sort of had this, I guess, spiritual Buddhist inspired or heavily I guess maybe not so much inspired. Well, definitely inspired, but more than inspired. It's I wouldn't say that oh dear, that was bad. This is the other crystal ball for this area. But it's more than an inspiration. It's definitely sort of taken that sort of what I would consider to be very much an Eastern religion-based view of the concepts of good and evil. And that's what the games are sort of really all about, is that interaction. And that's sort of what this game is about. We've had, in the last episode, we saw the horrors of slavery, basically driven by humanity's greed. And even though there were a lot of compassionate people about, and I love the fact that Frieden even has an animation for this, sort of even then saying, no, these people are your age. Be thankful for what you have, because there's people worse than you. And that is part of the very unflinching nature of the Quintet games. They just will go out and literally say, here is slavery. It is slavery. We're not... I mean, they've probably due to Nintendo's censorship rules of the day, probably hidden it behind the forced labor words. But it is still, in effect, slavery. And this whole area here is a maze of trying to get through, inevitably to get a ramp to run all the way across. So there's a lot of things we have to destroy piece by piece. So for example, this bit here. Now, I think I'm going backwards. I am... Yep. So... yeah, Quintet sort of had that... yeah, that reputation of... well, this is a thing. It's a horrible thing, but we want to show the good aspects of the human race and the not so good aspects of the human race. And another red jewel. And so I find it, well, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say well, not so much yeah, not so much challenging, but this game has its confronting themes. I mean, back under the old classification system we had in Australia, this game was rated as a G+8 or G8+, which these days would be the equivalent of PG for those who know the Australian system. And the thing about whenever something is not listed as basically being for a general audience, they have to give a reason as to why. And the basically the equivalent of the censorship the Office of Film and Literature Classification, as it's now called. They basically said that we've given it a higher rating because of comic horror. And this game does have its moments that really push at you. And really shock. I mean, we've had slaves. There's, we woke up on a sailing ship where everyone was dead. So there's a lot of things in this game that are not pretty, let's say. But it's not in that sort of Hollywood style or that sort of American game style where it makes you question your moral choices at every turn you make. It's not that sort of Western concept of good and evil that we have. It's more sort of a recognition of there are good things and there are bad things. And these things shouldn't get out of whack with one another. And that's a very sort of Eastern mindset. And I think to fully appreciate the game, as I've come over the years of playing this, I've sort of learned to come from that sort of understanding that this game and the series is designed for a different cultural audience than mine own. And sure, through my own studies of Japanese and my appreciation of Japanese culture, I've come to, I guess, understand a little bit more. But it still doesn't get rid of the fact that this game can be very confronting at times. And, I mean, Terranigma, the sequel, I mean, it has its moments. Oh boy, it has its moments. So, all my philosophizing about Quintet aside, for now, at least, this is what I'm trying to get rid of. Because I need to get up there. I'll have to do the longest ramp run in the game. And to do that, means I have to get rid of these. And I think I can now go back as Freedom. I don't think there are any more statues I need to destroy, but because everything's a mirror, I think there might be some more. No, it doesn't look like it. So, yes. Then they reappear, so we will need to say as will. Because I don't think the Dark Fry can destroy them. Now, where are you going? Up. And then you go into the narrow bit, that's right. So that's the way I have to go. Now, I forget where to stand. I think, it wasn't there, it was the other corner. And so now we have to go up against these guys as well again. And all the fire snakes are released. And it's going to come all the way into here. I think this is a dead end at the moment. Yes, it is. Oh, let's get out of here before it comes back. Oh, I can just see where the shadows are, where they're going to land. Oh boy. So I've got those ones as a clear reflection of the other one. Now, when you step on this tile, it makes a sound. And that's exactly the thing that I need to get for this to be lifted up. And here is how we're going to do it. Another one of these statues. Go away, sword. So we'll just spin our way over. And there we are. Well, there's more enemies to kill on this side as well, so we better do that. We'll just have them gang up on one another. I think you might be the last one. Yes, you are. Excellent. So I don't think there's anything else here. No, there's not. So let's go back up to the light side. Oh, forgot about this. Now I think I can stand there. All right, away we go. Back on the light side. And let's just get rid of these. And do the long run. And all that for one crystal ball. Yes, thank you, fanfare. Okay, so I think, yep, the fastest way back now is this way. And up we go. So I'll put this one in. And that moves the walkway across a little bit further. So I get the feeling that the Moon Tribe is testing us again. I think that's the reason why they've dragged me here. Now this area is just a basic free-for-all. So everything's just a little bit harder. And we've got all these jumps we can make now. Okay, don't shoot me. Oh, I just jumped straight through him. Now I think this is where... yes, there's... That's this bit, that's right. Okay. Oh! That wasn't nice. Play nice, please. Right, this is an exit. Okay, so we go over here and back to the start. And we'll go down again, just make sure we move upwards. So what I want to do is not make the second jump. Oh, ran straight into him. That was dumb. Alright, well let's go to the other side. So out of the 4 areas of the dungeon, this is probably the one where the light side and dark side are the most sort of, I wouldn't say linear, but one requiring the other very much so. Now, I hate that. This is the way back, and you're going to come up the pathway again. And you're basically designed to, yes, this bit. Alright. They're designed to be annoying, those fire snake things. So we did see the light side equivalent at the, 3rd section, the blue one, and just how slowly it moved. Okay. Now that's going to go all the way up. It's probably going to come all the way back again. But before I do anything else, I want my Dark Knight. Thank you very much. And some hit points would be nice too. Can I have hit points? Thank you. Alright. Okay. Oh. Let's run away. We've still got 7 enemies to go, and that's the dark space symbol on the radar there, directly north of me then. Oh! Yep, I can't be bothered, I'm just going to walk through it, otherwise I have to walk all the way back. That's boring. Okay, so the way forward is down. But now that I have freedom, I can deal with this here. And now the sword swings around madly. And I hear another cyber. Oh, there it is. And with that, that's gone. I probably should have reserved that, but I think that did go away after a while. Oh, that was a nice big fat one. Okay, oh, there you are. Let's get rid of you. Let's get rid of everything we can. Excellent. Our defense has increased. We're gonna need it. Okay, let's go through. Alright. I love the animation on those. Oh, this is an exit. Okay. So we need to take the other hole back here somewhere. Down here, I think it was. Yes, this bit. With the 2 ramps. Let's get rid of everything. Oh yes, they all spin around madly in this area. And I think you... No, you don't get rid of that blockage. Okay, that's our last enemy. And with that, we started a new row. Okay, so I've got the 2 ramps. I'm going to take the bottom one first. Come here, sword. So the only difference between light side and dark side is that one is a red and the other one's blue for those. So that's the crystal ball. Yay. That's our last one. And a very dramatic dive off a very short step. But what I'm going to do is take this hole again. And I'm going to take the other jump. Get that other chest. So that's all that's left on the map now. A herb. So we've got quite a few there. Yeah. I was going to order it, so... But anyway. Now, we'll go to the top right of this map. There's nothing left under here, nope. And I'll just make my way through that. I can get a heal in a moment. Okay, and we do the jump. And we can put the last crystal ball in. And I think they're not going to say anything else. Now that I've done it. Nope. And yet he can also see through my form as well. Well, nothing is hidden from the Moon Tribe, I suppose. Yes, I want to record. Okay. With that, the path is opened. And we can now meet the boss. And I love how everything disappears from you. Oh. So this is Viper. In the original release, apparently, he's a looks way more bird-like. He doesn't have this Babylonian motif to him. It's actually a lot easier than Castoth is, despite him finding it. But you've noticed that we're falling out of the sky. So, literally at the moment, we are falling to our death. And with that, he's gone. You have defeated the huge demon. Look, a mystic statue. So, get another one. I don't know what this is the mystic statue of. Is it of the sky? No idea. But with that done, they can transform back to Will. But we're still falling out of the sky. A strange noise fills the air around you. From out of nowhere, you hear Neil's voice, like this would actually happen in real life. Will, you're falling to the ground. Grab the airplane and we'll fly you out of here. And the most dramatic part of the game. Oh dear. Shoot, I dropped a contact. You what? Idiot. Will is doomed for sure now. Neil, it's still a little ways to the ground. Try again. Okay, I'll get him this time. And everyone is in the aeroplane. So there's Eric, there's Lance. We had Lance riding on the back, Will on top, Neil in the driver's seat. Kara and Lily are supposedly in there as well somewhere. That was a close one. Kara's crying. Eric's crying. Don't cry. Will's been saved. Neil, you were great. This invention saved Will's life. Don't flatter me. Actually, that was some very good aeronautics. We should try and locate the next ruins. I expect the shape of Cygnus is the same as the shape of Mu. Well, to the ocean. Mu lies somewhere in this ocean. But here's some advice. Don't overload a biplane by putting people in weird places on it. Like this. Because that happens. You will crash. Fortunately, everyone has parachutes. We got out of the airplane in the nick of time. Neil's a good inventor, but it seems there's always something missing in his inventions. Well, just thankfully he had parachutes. I guess nobody's perfect, including Neil. The next thing he knew, Will was standing in a huge palace. I couldn't remember anything since my water landing. Is everyone safe? So I love the design of this place. Oh! Okay. That's odd. Even if I touch it, no damage occurs. Oh, well. That is something we're going to have to look at next time, folks. Because this is where I'm ending today's episode. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. So until next time, Otsukare-sama.